Epilepsy warning. The following video contains flashes of light and other image effects that may have a harmful effect on the nervous system. Please pay attention to this.
Audio in games and audio games. Note, to fully enjoy this video, headphones are recommended. If you have them to hand, please put them on now if you wish. Good. Thank you. Let's start with the foreword. How often have blind children wished they could play video games like Super Mario with their siblings or race against Luigi, let alone Tetris, Monkey Island, or later even Final Fantasy? I speak from experience. How happy I would have been back then if Sony, Nintendo, and their ilk had paid attention to the acoustics as well as the graphics. So later I had no choice but to discover the world of audio games. What is meant by audio games? Audio games refers to the form of a game on a medium such as a computer, which is primarily concerned with sound elements, i.e. sounds. Graphics usually play no or a subordinate role. Allow me to conduct a short test. Do you feel like it? You don't have to if you don't want to. Did you see the plane? Where did it come from? Where did it fly to? And, did you notice a change in the sound? The audio game universe mainly contains games from the categories jump and run, first-person shooter, sports, skill, card games, and strategy, although there are not very many of the latter. Shooters are actually the most played genre here. AAA games, i.e. the very famous games that you can get, normally, in stores or on sales platforms such as Steam or the various company-owned stores, are usually provided with music, an atmosphere corresponding to the game, and of course many graphic, and also acoustic, effects. This enables people with a visual impairment, or let's say a certain visual acuity, to explore the game universe. Unfortunately, these aspects are not always sufficient to reveal the hidden treasures of these worlds to a non-sighted player, as contrast settings or larger fonts, as they are accidentally, or perhaps intentionally, built into the game mechanics, make orientation considerably more difficult and thus slow down the fun of gaming, if not bring it to a complete standstill. It can certainly help visually impaired people to find their way around the game. Unfortunately, many conventional games are still only designed in such a way that they only change the graphics when a character moves or, as in the previous example, when an airplane flies past, but not the sound. Exceptions prove the rules, of course. Well, I'm going to steal the picture now. Were you able to find out where the plane came from and where it went? No. That doesn't matter. Please continue to pay attention. It is precisely such sound details that are taken into account when programming an audio game. It is not the images that move, but the sound. Please close your eyes for the following example, but open your ears. Were you able to hear and follow the plane with your sense of hearing alone? Yes? Great. Then you've completed the first level of this video. Joking. However, the world of ordinary games is currently in a state of upheaval, but I'll come to that later. Action and reaction. Every computer game only makes sense if the user can perform actions, be it with a joystick, joypad, mouse, and/or keyboard. The latter is always used as a control medium in audio games. Many games also offer operation via joystick or joypad, and some even allow mouse movements and clicks. To make a character jump and crouch at the right moment, aim and fire a weapon, steer a vehicle or hit a ball with a bat, we prefer to use the keyboard for all of this. The arrow keys or W, A, S and D are often used for the directions, left, right, up and down, while the space bar is usually used for shooting or hitting. Here, too, there are variations and exceptions. So it can be said that, as you have already noticed, there is a gulf where image and sound are so close and yet so far apart. In one universe graphics is the dominant force, in the other sound reigns supreme. Yet it would not be impossible to create a bridge between the two worlds. The theory. In the normal game world, situations such as the arrival of an opponent from a certain direction or an obstacle appearing are only represented visually. Remember our airplane example from earlier. It would not be impossible to give the various objects and situations the appropriate sound design. It would only be necessary to add sound to their visual signaling. This example with the airplane is a very simplified form. Instead, let's assume a situation in which the character is forced to aim at an opponent in order to kill him. If you like, immerse yourself in the acoustic representation of the situation with me again. Let's assume we are sitting in a plane and have to shoot down an enemy airplane. But it has to be right in front of us, otherwise we will miss. We aim at the plane using the left and right arrow keys. The sound of the engine is now right in front of us, in the middle of the headphones. To be on the safe side, a warning signal sounds. Target acquired. Fire. This is one of the countless patterns an audio game can follow. Practice. However, as mentioned earlier, the world of ordinary games is currently undergoing radical change. Naughty Dog's game series, The Last of Us, is a prime example of this. The blind player can move around and, usually with the help of a navigation aid, navigate to target points. However, they can also move freely, for example to find an object that is indicated to them acoustically, or even an enemy, whether with or without the built-in listening mode. An aiming aid enables the target to be eliminated. It is also easy to miss the voice output, which provides important information, at least for the most part.
Du stehst, Gesundheit, 62.
Some puzzles can also be solved with these helpful functions, even if their computer voice says otherwise.
Dieses Rätsel ist eventuell nicht für alle Spieler zugänglich. Im Optionen-Menü ist die Option Rätsel überspringen verfügbar.
Less complex games have also been possible for some time now. In Mortal Kombat, for example, you always know exactly where your opponent is and can strike. Well, yes, always. As you can see, more and more commercial games have already incorporated acoustics. But, do you notice anything? That's right. Fighting games, action games peppered with gunfights, just murder and manslaughter. Please don't think these are the only game favorites. I would love a game in the style of Anno 1800. I wouldn't mind a decent flight simulator either. And I'm not the only one who feels that way. Unfortunately, it's precisely these games that are not, or not yet, playable due to a lack of accessibility. My wish would be for game developers, whether big and international or small and not particularly well-known, especially indie developers, not to let acoustics take a backseat, but to pay more attention to them. The bridge between the two worlds is already well advanced. Let's continue to build it so that one day visually impaired and normal-sighted gamers can play a game together. Exchange ideas and compete without having to think twice.
Text, Alex Westphal, Flash Lex Multimedia. Text was spoken from Revoicer. Thanks to Brandon Cole, who supported me with his work. Although I didn't took your voice, you are the best. Thanks to all, if gamer or developer, who watched this video. Cheers to future gaming fun together.